Steve Jobs wrote that he felt that we could chat as much as we wanted, send emails and communicate between each other as much as we wanted, remotely, but that real business, real partnerships and sealing real contracts have to be done face to face. What are your thoughts?
He's completely right. And actually he was the epitome of what he said. Because at the end of the day, if we write an email, we get the chance to rehearse it. We can delete it, we can rewrite it, we can think about it, we can prostrate about it. What we don't do is actually put any feeling into it. We don't actually show who we are. We don't make mistakes. We don't show any emotion. We don't actually show we're human. And that's the biggest pitfall, really. We get to be the perfect version of ourselves, but that's not business. Business isn't about being the perfect version of ourselves. It's about being the imperfect version of ourselves. Business is about getting things wrong. Business is about falling over and making mistakes, because that's how actually things are invented. Steve Jobs didn't make Apple by being perfect. He made Apple by getting kicked out of the board. He made Apple by being thrown out by somebody he trusted and then being invited back because they failed. Because what they didn't realize is he was more than just an inventor. He was a person that thrived and believed in imagination. He believed in learning what the customer actually really wanted, not what he believed that they wanted. And that's how businesses thrive. They thrive on people's emotions. They thrive on knowing what people really want, not telling them what they want. You can have all the marketing boards in the world. You can have all of the statistics in the world telling you what everybody wants. But in reality, do you really know what people want if you don't go out and talk to them, if you don't have human interaction, if you don't go and meet somebody? Do you really know if your business partner is trustworthy if you don't get to know them personally, if you don't know what they really want? Do they want the same things as you? And these are the biggest things that we need to learn. If you don't meet a person behind the email, then are they really the person that you want to be in business with? If you don't meet your customer, are they really your customer, or are they just going to go to the next person who gives them the next best price? So, yes, Steve Jobs was perfectly right. We can't do business unless we know who we're doing business with. And as a lawyer, that's the biggest failing I see. I can draft all the contracts in the world, but unless the parties know who they're actually dealing with and what the parties really, really want, or what their business partners are engaged with them for and how they're motivated and driven, then I can't guarantee there's ever going to be a success with that contract, or it's just going to end up in a litigation. Human interaction matters. Human interaction is one of the most important things, and you can't replace that by an email or an iChat. Even with Zoom and the video conferences, how many people do we know sit there in a shirt and tie and have said they're not wearing any trousers? Seriously, we don't know what's going on under the table.
Talking about that, tell us a little bit more about your firm, your law firm, and how you help or how you can assist family offices and private investors.
Well, it goes back to that human interaction. A lot of law firms and a lot of trustee firms believe that they assist family offices and they assist high net worth individuals by giving them what they want, but they don't actually listen to what they want. They have a preset formula. We will set up a trust, we will manage the trust, we will tell you what you want. Or we will say, yes, sir, no, sir, thank you very much, sir. What they don't do is actually sit down and find out what the interests of the actual family are, where they want to go with their trust, where they want to go with anything. If a family office is running a corporate business structure, sometimes you need to look at that corporate business structure and actually see, does it need to be reorganized so it's more efficient? Does that family business structure have a particular interest in an industry where you actually have contacts and you can actually help that family business structure gain more business, or you know of new innovations in that industry? You can help that business structure and you can help nurture it and grow that business structure. You don't just have to sit there and be a straight-laced advisor. And that's what we do. We look to give added value to all of our customers and clients. We don't just treat them as a client, they become a friend. They become more than somebody that we are there to charge. And there is an added value to that service. We're there to actually lead them to the right contracts. We're there to lead them in the right direction to grow their businesses. And even with high net worth individuals, we're there to structure everything correctly so that there is a benefit rather than I'm buying a house or I'm buying a property. What do you think? Yes, that's a great thing. We're not a yes organisation where, well, actually, there's a big problem with this. Have you looked at something? Have you looked at this, this, and this? Too many people are out there to say yes. Too many people are out there nowadays just to agree for the sake of earning money. They have to learn nowadays to say no, or this is not in your best interests.
What advice would you specifically give to your private clients and to your family offices?
I would say that things are changing at the moment. I would say there's a complete shift in the market. We all know COVID has damaged the investment market terribly. We know that COVID has caused massive problems with the investment market. A lot of investments have lost a lot of money. That's not actually a bad thing. In recent times, I have seen a new market emerging, and I've actually worked with this new market. And this is a new technology market that's emerging in sustainability, a market that's emerging post-COVID to actually deal with the issues that have arisen in alienation, sustainability, isolation, all the areas that everybody has felt, both as a business and an individual, where people have actually started to feel COVID has actually taken away their lives. COVID has actually taken away your ability to control your life, your business, your ability to actually determine what you want to do on a day-to-day basis on your own life, your daily chores, your daily everything. And a lot of new technologies have emerged. We've seen AI technologies, we've seen big data technologies starting to come to the forefront, we've seen new medical technologies, new health technologies. There are new emerging markets coming out, and there's even a new wave of technologies being developed through the Middle Eastern markets, with a shift from the American and the UK markets, where the money is now being diversified and invested towards the Middle Eastern markets, which are being seen as much more solid markets backed by a solid oil base, where people can actually rely on putting their companies, laying down their foundations, being backed by a solid family base, and being backed by the sovereigns of the Middle East, who are willing to actually start granting better permissions for new businesses to start up and come and foster these new innovations. So I think we're going to see a dynamic shift between new businesses in the UK and the US and Europe and even the Far East, and a switch towards the Middle East, where you're going to start seeing a lot more new businesses, semi-mature businesses moving there, because they're going to rely on the strong oil base as a security for them.
Your company is based in the UAE. Tell us, what do you think the forecast is in the UAE for the next 12 months?
Well, we're already seeing it. we're already seeing the start of new businesses coming into the UAE. We're already starting to see businesses moving from Singapore. We're starting to see businesses moving from Hong Kong. And we're starting to see the movement of businesses into the UAE, changing their headquarters and moving to the UAE and taking advantage of the new funds and the advantages that the UAE is starting to grant towards these businesses. Also earlier this year, we saw that the United Nations started its SDGs program, and for those who don't know, it's the Sustainable Development Goals program in the UAE, headquartering the UAE and naming the UAE as its new 2030 goal, and it to be its first sustainable city goal. This is a massive achievement for the UAE to be the main city. They aim to have over 300 cities named, and I was privileged to be part of this. So the UAE is on a massive track forward. There is a massive dynamic shift, and over the next 12 months I can only see this starting and moving positively forward. And I can honestly see this is just going to get better for the UAE, better for the GCC, better for anybody who comes and starts doing business in the GCC, because they will be supported. They will be supported in the UAE.